Recently, Randy Moss stepped away from ESPN. He had a post from Sunday Countdown where he asked for prayer warriors to join in with him, and he was going through some health issues, wore sunglasses on the show. And Larry Fitzgerald Sr., Brett Favre all came out and said they were hearing, based on being at some sort of conference for the Hall of Fame, that, Randy had liver cancer. And they posted that with prayers and condolences or whatever it is. And his son, Thaddeus, who went to LSU, sort of took exception to it. Mm. Larry Fitzgerald actually tweeted his father and said, look, Pops, let's just pray for the best for him and let Randy and his family handle the way the news is sort of distributed. What do you think about just the situation of Thaddeus sort of taking offense to the fact that people are saying what's going on with his father, even though in doing it, they're trying to wish him well?
None of their damn business. I know it's legal, HIPAA. You can't speak on my stuff. I don't want you to know my stuff. Like, come out there. And I understand 100% what you're saying, RC.
Yeah.
It was no malicious way,
right.
No malicious fashion, no joking way and all that. But if I was to get sick and y'all hear something about me through the grapevine, I wouldn't say I think. I know now one of y'all is going to put it on social media or tell the world about it. Because that's not y'all's place as men. That's not y'all's place as my homeboys. That's not anybody's place. So I would tell those guys about Randy, that wasn't your place to talk on any other man's health. It's not your place. We talk about this on the show. Not your place to talk about anybody else's family, anybody else's struggles. When they come out with it, I'll respond to it and I'll reach out to you personally and see if you want me to speak on it. But if not, you got my number. They have his number. They work with him. They know him. I think it's extremely out of line to speak on another man's health.
Yeah, just to add to that, Chan, if Randy wanted everybody to know, Randy would have said, this is what I'm dealing with. He purposely said, I have something going on inside and I'm going to get through it. We're going to be all right. And I just asked for everybody's prayer. And that's the short of it. His private business should remain private if that's the way he wanted it. And I commend his son for stepping out and saying, look, this is our business. And you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do it for clicks. So Thaddeus, that's great defending your dad's call. But yeah, man, other than that, I don't want to speak on it too much, but I do want to say old school, we praying for you, bro, here at the Pivot, and we asking everybody out there that rocks with us to pray for you too. So as I text you, man, get better. Until then, bro, still love you.
Yeah, I think first off to Thaddeus and the entire Moss family, my prayers are with them. I reached out to Randy, just to check in, not so he replies or to be in his business, but I would hope if I'm going through something that I've at least made public I'm going through something, that people that cared about me would reach out to say they care, right? To reach out to say they're just checking in, would reach out to say that I heard your call for prayers, and as a prayer warrior myself, I'm joining you in reaching out to God for help. I think if you're Thaddeus Moss, I can only think about my dad, right? I remember being a little kid and I was about to fight this kid down the street. And his dad was outside being like egging me on, teasing me. Cause my mom was down there and she didn't want me to fight. And I just remember telling, you wouldn't say that to my dad. And my mom was like, when we was walking, she's like, your dad's not home, right? But I just remember being so brave because I was like, my pops will whip him. I didn't even know if he could, but he was my dad.
Right.
Right? And my dad's wasn't one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. I didn't get to watch other people sort of praise and idolize and marvel at my father. I just did. So I know how I looked at him. So I couldn't imagine having Randy Moss as my dad and believing that he is superhuman and him being blessed with all of these traits that mere mortals aren't blessed with, and then having to be faced with his mortality. That would be very hard for me. And whether I knew what was wrong with him or we knew what was wrong with him or not, I would be so protective of him, I would want that to be his to disclose. And I do understand whether you're Larry Fitzgerald's father or you're Brett Favre, your intent was not to, at least the feeling was, it wasn't to break news, right? But in Fitzgerald's place, you know, he was part of the media, it could probably feel like that, right? Like you're trying to be the first one to say what's going on when you very well just could say you're praying for him, right? I obviously work where he works, so I've heard things, and that's not my business to tell anybody else. Like, I'm not a reporter that's supposed to do that. And so I think the thing for me, and Freddie T always tells us this, you know, get your checkups, take care of yourself, be on top of your health. So many times, like, we were just taught to go through everything and be strong and be tough, but like, we can't beat it all. And time waits on no man, and Father Time is undefeated. And so from my family to my pivot family, man, Randy, we love you. You are, to many of us, man, superhuman and a superhero. But I know for your family, for sure. So our prayers are definitely with y'all.